Good morning to you, viewers of High Television. You are welcome to Thursday's edition of the program Press Brief. Today, Thursday, the 21st of December 2023, just 4 days to Christmas. We are here to give you what the papers are saying. We'll be back immediately after this. Good morning to you, viewers of High Television. You are welcome to this edition of the program, the Thursdays one. For today, we start with La Voix du Jeune for this program. That is, La Voix du Jeune talks of the Roman Catholic Church. It says, when will they actually give authorization and blessing to polygamies? Again, you find that story on that said paper and read basics to 7 after Pope Francis says it's okay for the Catholic Church to bless same-sex couple. Away from that paper, we move over to the next publication on our newsstands for today. We take you now to Info Martin. Info Martin for today talks of the Martinez Zogo affair. It says to how to understand the affairs leading to the arrest of Savom. You can find more on that said paper for today. Nursery education, the paper reports on the government who is to recruit some 3,000 teachers in the nursery sector. Get to read that story on that said publication for this morning. The FIAC 12 for this morning is interested in public finance. It says the favorable evaluation and funds. You can find more on that said paper in a meeting that was chaired by the Minister of Finance, Louis Paul Motaze. Paul Atanganji talks on the hate speech, xenophobia that is quite recurring in the Cameroonian society. It says it's something that he and his other team from the 10 regions, that's the governors, needs to step out. He was speaking during the second semester of the governors meeting in the Ministry of Territorial Administration. We'll move now to vaccine against malaria. It says priority is children between 6 months. Get to read that story on that said paper for today. Cameroon Business Today talks of the top 10 startups for 2023 in Cameroon. Get to read on them on that paper of Marie Claire Nana for today. 2024 state budgets adapting to constant changes. You can find more on page 26 to page 27 on Cameroon Business Today. Mrs. Young for this morning talks of curiosity. It talks of this official connectivity of e-learning. Get to read more on that said paper for today. African Cup of Nations 2024 in Ivory Coast. It says, how prepared are the Indomitable Lions? Get to read some answers provided for us by Mutation for this morning. Loju for today talks of electricity in Cameroon. It says how a new is moving to ameliorate the distribution of electricity across the country. You can find more on that paper of Loju of Amamana for today. War against information in Africa. You can find that story on page 5 on that paper for this morning. We move away from Loju. We take you now to Info Martin we take you now to Emergence. Emergence for today talks of the fiscal policy of the IMF and Cameroon. It says the IMF pins Cameroon when it comes to taxation. Get to read that story on that said paper. Femicides. More than 80 women have been killed by their love partners in 2023. And this said paper, vulnerable children, the paper talks of how the Ministry of Social Affairs provided some 5,000 birth certificates to some less privileged children, headed by the minister herself, Pauline Irene Guinea. We move over to the Nation. The Nation for this day says Yaluti Day, federal government offers free train rides to travelers, and so APC Senate seats declare vacant. And we'll move over to Rivers State G27 withdrawal sacks notice to Fobara. Tinubu asks Senate to declare 11 justices for Supreme Court. You can find that story on page 3 on that said paper for this morning. We'll move over to Ladies News. Ladies News talks on her, that is violence or matrimonial violence. The paper talks of her testimony, which is making this testimony from a housewife who was brutally beaten by her husband. husband to near death. You can find that story on Ladies News for this morning. And I said Ladies News, the paper reports on special Christmas in Bikok, a locality in the central region of the country. Quotidian Eco Sante reports on the fight against malaria. It says the impact of the health impact when it comes to the collectivity towards the fight against malaria. Get to read that story on the health paper for today on Quotidian Eco Sante. The Punch for this morning says 50 transport subsidy. Okay, 50% transport subsidy. I beg your pardon. Federal government slashes inter-state fares. Labour knocks government. Federal government cuts external borrowing debt as it soars to 88 trillion naira. You can find that story on page 19. Army retires some 113 generals as they pledge support for the promotion of democracy in Nigeria. Man arraigned for stealing 25 million naira in Lagos. You can find a human interest story on page 5. Le Soir Tribune for today talks of how Minat boss Paul Atsanganji exhorts the 10 regional governors to put all it takes when it comes to the security and end of year hitch-free celebrations. The Yaoundé Express wrote the Yaoundé Douala Express wrote the paper report on the Yaoundé Simalen phase. It talks of phase 2. You can find that story on that paper for today. Cooperation ties between Cameroon and Japan. The paper report on this one known as PEMISA, disengagement taken by both countries to boost their bilateral relationships in both countries. Punch Sports Extra newspaper for today talks of Pizarro, I have mercy on us, and in this said paper from the English Premier League it says EFL Cup win can inspire Chelsea. That is what Punch talks on that paper for today. Haaland Doki to miss Club World Cup final. Awoyomi sends sack copper message. Get to read that story on that said paper for this day. Victor Osimhen can lead Super Eagles to AFCON glory. That is what one of the former footballers of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, Kwakili, talks on that paper for this day. We'll move over to the next publication, Innovation. Innovation for today talks of the public markets in 2023, how the Minister of Public Contracts, Minister Delegate at the Presidency in charge of public contracts, Ibrahim Tabam Mala, keeps on doing rigorous work when it comes to public contracts execution in the country. We'll take you to the palm sector, the palm tree sector. The paper reports on how Cameroon exported some 160 tons of palm oil in this year. You can find more on that said paper for today. The Administrative Council of ANNOR, that's the board of directors meetings of ANNOR, adopts a sum of 3 billion CFA francs as running budget for next year. We move over to a Realite Plus for today. Realite Plus talks of Divisional Commissioner with an exceptional class, Martin Bergangele, who is the head of the police in the country. The paper says someone who actually executes his function with a lot of efficiency. You can find that story on Realite Plus for this day. At the end of the second semester conference of governors meeting that was chaired by Minister of Territorial Administration Paul Atsanganji, the paper gives the dissect on how that Yaoundé meeting went with Paul Atsanganji. We cross over to Le Témoin. Le Témoin talks of recruitment of teachers. It says Paul Biya injects a new blood. And we'll move over to this other story that says with less than 24 hours, some 117 enterprises will get their various documentation or authorization from the Ministry of Finance. The Guardian newspaper from the UK talks of outrage over police access to 50 million driving licenses to run face check. And we take you to a Christmas that changed me. We move over to teenagers convicted for Brianna Charles murder. Well, let's take you to this other story. For today talks of tax cuts in 2024 after surprise fall in inflation. Help my children at Christmas. You can find more on that paper for this day. Let's move over to the Sun. The Sun says BBC presenter in court Iraq. They went further to talk of Begin hunt star attack changes. Viewers of High Television, with that paper from the UK, this is what we stop on this edition of the Thursday program, which is Thursday the 21st of December. Thanks so much for watching, and good night and good day.